What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name's Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. I'm joined by two guys that always chase the hits and flip the cards back in the day at my shop. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, boys? I don't remember those days.
Yeah, I don't think I ever put a set together, ever.
I remember you when you pulled that Kirk hologram. I remember you like flipped it just like that. It was
you pulled that,
incredible.
Mike. I will say I have flipped cards back in the day in your shop. The actual hologram I flipped. Do you remember what it was?
It was the Wolverine 3D hologram.
The 3D hologram. And do you remember I sold it at school for $50 and I thought it was the most money in the world. And I sold it to someone at school. I came into Mike's shop. I bought like 2 or 3 more packs, pulled another one that I still have to this day. So yes.
Dirty flipper over there.
Hashtag Geoff Wilson was always right. Geoff Wilson's right about everything.
He was totally.
I still have a 1992 Upper Deck set in a binder. I still have it from back in the day.
Did you buy that recently? I mean, nobody put sets together. I watched a video. I heard things. We'll talk about that a little later, though.
Yeah.
How's it going, boys? Anything new and exciting going on?
Yeah. Let me check my notes. I don't think I have anything. Hold on. Let me look.
Check the notes to see.
Nope. Nothing on my notes. No, I was talking to EP in between shows. I got my bookshelf back here. It's almost completely full, and I have way more sets. I just don't know what to do, guys.
Who could have seen that coming?
Right.
And like some of them, I even consolidated into Ultra Pro. You know, I didn't have a binder for every single set, but yeah, I mean, kind of ironic that one of our stories this week will be about building sets. I'm like running out of room for building sets, so I'm going to have to figure something out. I still have probably a 3,000 count box, 3/4 of the way full with sets I need to do something with. So we'll see how that works. But yeah, it's a hard times here. Hard times at the Day Estate. Need to figure out what to do.
No beverage today, Joe?
No, not today. I have yard work to do, so I'm having my coffee.
You're saving the beverage for the yard work. Got it.
After the yard work, for sure. For sure.
All right.
Joe, so I do think I said you're probably going to need another shelf. Didn't I say that on the podcast?
Did, but it's like a weird like I don't need that full size shelf.
Oh yes, you do. Come on, you're gonna just build
more. You just fill it up.
Yeah.
But I don't even know where I put it. I got to rearrange this chair. It's just there's all sorts of things going on here. There's a lot. There's a lot. So we'll figure it out. One day you're going to come. The whole room's going to be repainted. There's going to be shit torn down. It's just all because of that shelf. All because of that secondary bookshelf I had to get. So
we're sorry to call that joking. Yeah, definitely not.
Rob,
what's new and exciting with you, EP?
Well, so I have a question for you guys. So this came up at the last card show, and I forgot to bring it up. And there was somebody who came in and was looking at my case, and he saw this Vladimir Guerrero Jr. card I had. It's a gold card, die cut from 2012 or 2013, numbered to 99. It was a redemption card that he had to send in, and it had to come back. And he's looking at it. Is that a rookie card? I was like, no, it's not a rookie. And he's looking at it. So it's still pretty old. It's Vladimir Sr. He's like, that's cool. And he brings out his phone and starts looking for comps. No comps. A couple of them listed. Like this is redemption again, number 99. You wonder how many of them actually got redeemed. So you don't know how many of them are out there. But there have been no sales. And he says, I'm going to pass on that because there are no comps. So I thought that was just a weird thing that if you were interested in it, like we could probably work out a deal of a price that maybe we wanted. But he said there are no comps. So I'm going to pass on that. So I just want to know what you guys think.
He didn't want the card.
Right.
He didn't really want the card.
Right. Yeah. He wanted to flip it. Yeah.
The fact that there are no comps and it's a rare card and it's a numbered card that was only by redemption, that would make me think, wow, I can't believe I saw that. I think I'm going to see what I could get this for. Like to not even negotiate or talk about it. Right. I mean, it's a little weird. I mean, maybe people are like that now. If they don't know what it's worth, they won't even talk because you could be ripping them off. But if there aren't any comps for 3 years on eBay, that's because there aren't a lot of the cards out there. Like, come on, that's the part of it that sometimes I think people might miss. Like, if you're not finding a comp, it's because the card just doesn't come for sale very often. And if it doesn't come for sale very often, I look at that as an opportunity to buy that card. So yeah, I think that's crazy.
Yeah, and you said it was graded, right, EP?
It was not. It's not graded. No.
Was it sealed or anything?
Die cut.
Or was it?
I'm trying to remember if it is sealed. There's definitely there's a piece of plastic on top of it, like a protective coating or whatever on it or whatever.
The only reason I meant like sealed, like
I don't think it has a top sticker. I don't think it has a top sticker. No.
The only reason I asked that is it possible that this guy thought, oh, maybe it's not a real card? I could also see that.
I guess it's possible, but like I said, he did find the listings, like a few listed, a few of them listed. So it wasn't like.
So they were listed, but there were none that actually sold.
Correct.
That is well. Then
and you can't even use that as a guide,
right? Like
that is why I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, my mind cannot compute. Like you say, like.
And it wasn't like I had like $500 on it. I think I had $40 on it. I think that's what like the sale, the listing prices are. It was around $40.
What would that dude do if he collected sketch cards?
Right.
I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's cards that I collect that they come up once every like 3 years. Like I'll see one and it came up 3 years ago was the last time it came up on eBay. There's no recent comps, right? And it's like the seller doesn't want to sell it for its previous comp because it knows it's gained value. Like that guy would be like, whoa, this sold for $561.02 3 years ago. That's the price. Like, I don't know. It's just such a weird stance to not even negotiate with someone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's an odd duck is what I would say. Was he younger or older?
I would say he's younger than us, but not. It wasn't like he was it wasn't like he was. It's not like it was like 16-year-old,
18-year-old, right. Oh, that's strange. Yeah, that's a buying opportunity. I'm with Mike on that one. It's like, oh, it's never sold before. It must be pretty rare, or it hasn't sold in a while, or that's right. Very strange.
I don't know. I had an interesting day on Friday. So, just full disclosure here. I'll pull the curtain back. You look behind me here. Look, there's a beautiful YouTube setup here. I have my cards over my shoulder, some neat little things on this side. Outside of what you can see, might not be quite as neat, might not be quite as YouTube-y. I might have a lot of boxes of cards laying around. Specifically, right here. You can't see them, but there's a shelf here. It's not a big shelf, but kind of this table here too. There might be cards under that, but I don't know. I haven't looked in a while. But there's a shelf over here. So Friday, I had the day off, and I randomly decided to pick up a box and look through it. Not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. I found the one box. It was a box I had put cards I was thinking about grading initially when I first started going through my cards for my shop. Found my 2 low-grade 86 Fleer Charles Barkley rookies in there, which is cool. There's a bunch of like low-end base 90s Jordan stuff that like are in great shape. I think I actually went through it before and I got like a 10 on a 93, 94 base Upper Deck Jordan. But after I got done looking at that one, like, I'm going to look at another one. Well, what you know, I ended up going through every single box I have on this shelf over here. And it took me most of the day. I still might have cards piled up in front of me here and some over there. And
did you organize them in any way as you were going through them? Just out of curiosity.
There are way too many to organize. They're in boxes. What else? They're organized.
I get that. I feel that.
Yeah. So I pulled out like a shoebox worth to look up prices on ComC because I want to send some more cards into ComC. So I was just looking through, pulling stuff out along the way. Posted a lot of pictures on my Twitter. So if you want to see, just check out my Twitter feed for Friday. I had all kinds of pictures. I even did a video of my basketball stack sale leftovers I found a box of. That was kind of cool. But, here I am, and I'm starting to look stuff up. Then my wife and I watched some, TV for a little bit. And then I went back and started, looking up cards. Next thing I knew, it was 1:00 in the morning. I'm like, wow. I'm like, but I'm really energetic and I'm like really into this and stuff. I'm like, you know what? No, I have to get up tomorrow. I got to go to bed. And then I'm sitting in bed and I'm still not falling asleep, which is unusual for me. And dawned on me that, I have this container that I drink stuff out of, and I get Mio. It's a water flavoring thing you put into
Neo?
water. This
You
is
say Neo?
no, not Neo. Mio.
Oh, okay. Related to Neo, I believe.
Imagine a drink with essence of Neo in it.
Yeah, this is 32 ounces, right? Just a little sidebar. Take it back a year. I don't drink caffeine anymore. I cut out caffeine. Well, you might know where this is going. As I'm sitting in bed for another hour from 1:00 to 2:00, just playing games on my iPad and watching YouTube videos and thinking, wow, I'm wide awake for some reason. This is really weird. It dawned on me, did I buy the Mio Energy?
Oh, wow.
Next morning, I get up. Sure enough, yes, I bought the Mio Energy and I drank 32 ounces of it. And boy, let me tell you, I got a lot done though. So, but yeah, this is my world. But I got through the whole box of everything for ComC. I have a big pile of cards about that high descended. So, moral to the story is cut out caffeine completely for a year. And then use it whenever you need a little bit of extra energy. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel jittery or anything. I even remember before, like going up and down the steps thinking, wow, I have a lot of energy tonight. But it didn't dawn on me then, not until like 2:00 in the morning. So that's my story for the week.
That's a great story. It actually reminds me of this really funny episode of Seinfeld, right? Where George and Elaine are hanging out for the first time by themselves, and the only thing they can do that they have in common is make fun of Jerry. And Elaine goes, how about Jerry drinks Morning Thunder? And George goes, Jerry doesn't drink caffeine. And she goes, he doesn't know it has caffeine in it. And after he drinks, he's like, I feel great. I could do anything. I feel great. First off, it's named Morning Thunder. So what the hell are you, what are you thinking? But yeah, very reminiscent of that, like getting a lot of things done after. Maybe I should do that. Stop caffeine. I drink so much caffeine that it doesn't even help anymore. Like I'm to that point where it doesn't even wake me up because I'm like 6 cups in and I'm still like, I could pass out like that. So maybe I need to take a break.
I still have like multiple piles of like football and baseball and basketball on my desk here that I haven't gotten put away for stack sales yet. So yeah.
So Mike, is that Neo that's in that bottle right now? Is that still the energy?
No, that is the regular kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you unlock another day of
no.
Just to talk cards with us. He's getting all jazzed up.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting. Yeah. Sitting up here. I had people offering me money to host the podcast for me.
Oh, wow.
That is not true because I would take it. I would let them do it for free. If you want a job, let me know.
Yeah, same. If you need to be the sassy commentator on things, if you need to glass half empty kind of guy, and you want to sit in this corner, this quadrant, let me know. Hit me up. Especially on 3 cards.
How great would that be?
Cards, that would be great.
I'm not doing that. But like just for 1 week for somebody different to be in your and my spot, Joe, with just EP down there with nobody acting like anything's different.
I guess weird. Is that weird? Yeah.
I think that was an episode of The Office, actually, not Seinfeld, but The Office. I believe that happened.
And don't say it in the comments that, yeah, please, guys, do that because we'll come hunt you down. Be nice to us. Be nice. We're here every week for you guys. Just remember that.
66.66% of us.
Yeah.
Read the comments. So
we don't have advertisements in the middle of the video that are on. Like I can't control what YouTube does, but I'm not spending the first 5 minutes of the video pitching this stuff. We're here to talk to you because we're your friend.
That reminds me, use my code, the sports card dad, for all your slab mag needs.
All right. Do you want to get into it? Or should we just
sure.
call it a day?
We're in. We're good.
Okay.
Already here, so I might as well go.
Yeah.
All right. I have a lot of stuff on here I haven't even talked to you guys about. So this should be fun. I like to get your honest reactions of things. Industrial Inspection and Consulting. I don't know if you remember them, but they are the card CT scanning people. Well, I just thought you guys might like to know that they have launched a new authentication brand called X-Ray Authority. Do we want to comment on the name before we get into anything else? X-Ray Authority. Somebody sat down and thought, wow, this is a great name for our service.
It sounds like a villain name in a comic book.
It does. Or like a villain like group, like the X-Ray Authority.
Heel group in wrestling.
Could be, yeah.
Where they break bones. That's what it is. And you have to have them x-rayed. There it is.
Perfect.
Vince McMahon.
Whole backstory is written.
Paul Levesque, give me a call. Okay.
Give him a call. So for a fee, which that fee would be $250 for a box of Pokemon and trading card games, $125 for a hobby box, or $75 a pack plus $10 for each additional pack up to 6 more. They will now scan it and you can have it slabbed, you can have it graded by X-Ray Authority, and they're going to have a registry and certification numbers. But you might think, wow, that's a lot. That's not it. There's one more option. Straight to auction. Yes, you can have an add-on service where they take the box of cards, you have them CT scan, they CT scan it, they slab it, and then they send it to Golden Auctions to be auctioned off. The toothpaste is out of the tube, right, Joe? I mean, this is now just a part of our hobby. You can get your boxes searched and it's on the up and up. But what in the hell is going on here? Make it make sense.
I bet you, was it Jake or Logan Paul is like, where the hell was this service a few years ago? And that's why I will defend it for a second and say there are a lot of people that get scammed, and it would be nice if this was actually being used for, okay, we're going to verify that everything is legit here and then sell it. That's probably not what's going on. I guarantee you the vast majority of people are not taking advantage of these slabbing services where it's encasing their boxes because they want to either open them, get the hit that they know is in there, or they want to sell them if they don't get the hit, if the hit that they want is not in there. So it's a very nice way to put lipstick on a pig, right? And say, oh, we're just authenticating things. Which again, when we first talked about this story, I had brought up the Golden Auction, the Golden Touch show, where they were scanning an old school iPhone, like one of the OG, Generation 1 iPhones. And to verify that was sealed and real in there. That's what this should be used for. They're just finding a clever way of kind of getting around the oh, well, look how shady this looks. No, we're just authenticating things. They're trying to make that look more legitimate. I mean, good on them. It's a business that I guarantee you there will be a lot of people very interested in using. I wouldn't be surprised if it is some of the more affluent members of the hobby are having much of their wax that they have in their collection.
They already are.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a way to get around the shadiness of it by making it seem like it's some sort of authentication only.
They're offering a legitimate service. It's it can go a little farther.
But they know that.
Yeah,
they know that. I mean, that's what they're marketing that,
There's absolutely nothing wrong with
100%
knowing that, okay, this box of base Pokemon, oh yeah, it actually has Pokemon cards in it. Like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it has a Charizard here in this spot. And that's not great. Like, this is the problem. It's it could be good. It is good, but it's also bad.
It is the high-tech way of opening up a box of Impel 1990 Marvel Universe and knowing where the holograms were, right? Oh, 4 packs down on this one, 3 packs down this, and you knew where they were. Now, you could go in there. If I was a scammer, what I would do is I would CT scan a box of Pokemon, find where the hits were, right? Pull those out, send the rest to be graded by PSA because they're authentic now. They're sealed, and then you sell those at a premium when you know there's nothing in them.
That's what people do.
That's what people do. Yeah. So and you have
they don't have to CT scan it. They can just weigh them.
Right. They can weigh them too. Yeah, that's actually another option too. I mean, it's crazy, but in this case, it is, like I said, lipstick on a pig. They're just trying to make themselves look legitimate when they're really not.
Before I get fully started on mine, you think I should send my 1991 Pinnacle football box to over there? Get them to scan. Get them to.
No, what's the Chase the Reggie? Your Chase the
1990 Upper Deck highs.
Yeah, send those in there. Yeah.
So I mean, there are tons and tons of things here. First off, I agree 100% with Joe that there's people aren't going to take advantage of the slab, at least not yet. And then also, they're not just going. They're not just going to end up being just used for verification. The slippery slope is very, very slippery on this one, I think. And I wouldn't be surprised if once they become established doing this, then all of a sudden, this is a box of 2000 Fleer Ultra football with 3 Tom Brady rookie cards in it or whatever. It's like so the slab will say what is in the box, and I could see that becoming a new thing in the hobby where I think we would be kind of gross to us, but I could see people being excited.
That's what Pokemon sellers do now, though. EP, they do sell heavy packs. Mm-hmm. They don't know specifically what's in those heavy packs, but it's like a legitimized thing that people will go in and buy heavy packs for X amount more than they would buy not heavy packs. So that's kind of already a thing that's happening.
But Pokemon dealers never sell light packs, do they?
No, they just sell packs.
About that. But that's always what I'm thinking when I'm seeing a heavy pack. Like, well, what about the light packs?
To the light packs?
Yeah, why aren't you selling a light pack? Why aren't you selling it so I know there isn't
because they're already selling them on eBay. They're selling them. Yeah, that's exactly my point. It's already happening.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. I also agree with Mike that on the surface this is a good thing, and like Joe brought up, whichever poll it was, the real American hero that he is, getting the G.I. Joe cards in place of the Pokemon case like that. I mean, that is there's definitely a place for this, but there's just the slippery slope is just it feels like it's so steep and so slippery.
It is, but then I don't know, this has probably been going on behind the scenes. It pretty expensive. I don't know. It's the hobby. This is the kind of shit that's just going to happen. People like us can say whatever we want, but it's not going to change. There's always going to be people looking for an edge. There always has been people looking for an edge. This is kind of just the new version of it depends on what the people are going to do with the information they have. Mm-hmm. When there were days back in the day in the shop, there were certain products that, the pack was this thick that had the jersey card in it, which was a real problem for me. That's why I had to not let people pick through packs. I used to put the box down for people to pick out what they wanted to. And then it got to a certain period of time where I couldn't really do that. But at the same time, I want people to have a fair spot. But if I know what the pack is, if I'm giving them a pack. So it was a problem for me back then. It kind of creates that same problem for people now. If you know where the hit is in the box, if you're trying to be legitimate and not rip somebody off, it still creates a problem for you in that where it is. I don't know. It's just.
Now imagine that shop scenario, but every pack is 100 times more expensive than the packs that you were not letting people rifle through. I mean, that becomes the problem. If a legitimate company, I don't even know who the legitimate company is. If a legitimate company though came out and said, I guess some people like BBCE, that, joking aside about the Logan Paul thing, we all got duped, right? Like if they came out and said, hey, we have a CT scanner before we wrap things to verify that everything is where it should be. We're not going to tell you what's in it, but we're going to verify that everything that should be in there is in there. I would actually really, really like that service. And I made the joke about Logan Paul would really love it too. But then the other part of this is, from a company point of view, Fanatics is the hobby. They need to start making products that are not susceptible to CT scanning. They have to. You have that. I'm just going to use a non-sports example, the Star Wars Galactic Antiquities. If someone really wanted to see if there was I forget who, I think Pedro Pascal was like the big hit, or one of like the OG folks.
Big three, yeah.
Yeah, the big three. I know they have some cards in there too that are pretty few and far between. But like, if you can CT scan that and find the big hit in that, you can determine on who the card is of, which I think they have shown that they can do that, right? I think they did it with Brady 2000 Bowman Chrome. They showed that they could do that. So, like companies have to, and I say companies, Fanatics has to figure out a way to stop this from happening on their side of it. So people, and they won't, because it'll cost money, right? What do they care? The product's out the door.
Yeah, it's also they don't what do they care? Like they've already sold it. Like that's
right. That's why the product's out the door. They don't care. But if they want to keep this hobby as legitimate as Michael Rubin said he did all the way back in episode 1, wanted to make this hobby great, then stuff like that is probably going to have to get done, and it just won't.
Yeah, you wonder how many of the big breakers and stuff already have some kind of CT scanner or somebody who can look at stuff for them. I don't know. Like, this is where we are in the hobby. It's just like everything else. You're probably best off just assuming you're going to get scammed, and people are not being honest out vigilant there. And yeah, if they end up being good, then it's a bonus. Yep. But speaking of being the good in the hobby, our hobby leader, the overlords in the hobby, no, not Michael Rubin, but in the content creation side, good old Geoff Wilson was back with a video this week. Now, I'm not a cynical person. I'm not going to mention the fact that this is the same guy that came out with the bottom is here video, and the same guy that came out with the Lorcana is going to take over Pokemon video. But Geoff Wilson
has really gotten worse, hasn't it? Holy crap. I didn't even remember that.
Yes, I didn't forget it too.
Jesus.
That's why I wanted to bring this stuff up.
That's got to be one of his worst.
He's back with another rant video. Well, here's the thing, though. He does these videos. I established those to show a pattern that every now and then he likes to throw out a video, say some ridiculous stuff to get everybody in the hobby talking about him, and it works. And here we are. And I really didn't want to talk about it, but Joe told me that some of our viewers wanted to hear what we had to say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to preface it by saying I'm not sure how much of what he was saying was a work and what was a shoot. I'm not sure he totally believes what he was saying, but I believe he was saying it to elicit a response from the hobby. That's my little caveat, but we will get into it. He had his video talking about how chasing hits and flipping cards is not killing the hobby. He went on to talk about, his childhood and his experience in the hobby, how collectors have always chased hits, that there really haven't been, he didn't collect sets when he was a kid, and a lot of his friends didn't collect sets, that there are people waxing poetic about history and how all the kids were collecting sets back in the day. Nobody was trying to chase the big card. Everybody was trying to chase the 89 Griffey. That was a chase card. That was a hit that you were chasing. They had Beckett's. You could not wait for the Beckett to come out so you could just rip it open and make sure your cards were going up in price. this is his version. This is what he was selling in the video. Again, I don't think it was sincere. I think he was doing it just to piss the hobby off and get them talking. But let's act like it was real. First of all, there's a little bit of a difference, right, between trying to get an 89 Griffey, which is part of a set, out of a set that's a rookie card, and chasing a 1 of 1 out of something that you have a 1 in 10 million chance of hitting. Isn't it? The Beckett's. Did we collect stuff waiting for the Beckett so it would go up so we could sell it at like make our 10% margin to get our return on investment?
We were 12-year-olds. Yeah, that's what
I had a card shop. Maybe, Geoff might be sharing his own anecdotal experience. I saw many different people. Not everybody collected sets. Like, come on, not everything is all one thing or all the other thing. I had a lot of people that were happy to go after a Ken Griffey Jr., but they wanted the card. They weren't trying to get the Ken Griffey Jr. to profit off the card. They wanted it because it was expensive, and pulling it out of a pack for less than what it would cost to buy it is a thrill. Yes, maybe that's chasing a hit, but it's not quite the same of buying into a break and trying to get an expensive card just randomly that you don't care about so you can sell it. Am I wrong?
All right, guys. I have put this conspiracy hat on many times over the course of our channel, metaphorically and physically. Okay. I've put this hat on. I think this one is going to be the most outlandish. So it's going to be a rabbit hole thing. I think this is going to be the most outlandish conspiracy theory the hat has ever spoken. Okay, you boys popcorn. Ready? You holding on? The conspiracy hat thinks that there might be an ulterior motive to Geoff talking about all this stuff. I know. It is shocking that a man who owns a card shop, who pumps and dumps high cards, and ironically, before starting to talk about this topic on his video, did an ad for Arena Club Repack. I mean, this is the craziest conspiracy theory I think I've ever had on this channel. I really don't think Geoff's in this hobby for the right reasons. I don't know. Is this hat just? Should I retire it? This is the craziest it's ever been.
Yeah, right? I don't even know what you're trying to say.
Jesus H with this guy. I mean, yeah. Joking aside, I have notes.
Okay,
let's talk about him promoting a repack before telling us that no one ever built sets. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. The fact that he was literally doing an ad for a repack and saying, no one ever did anything but chase hits back in the day.
And can I interject while you're doing some of these? Remember back at the shop, I used to have those pieces of paper with Mike's Upper Deck on the top with all the numbers on it for people who were building sets that they could write the set name and stuff at the bottom and then cross the stuff out. I used to have piles of those to hand out to my customers at the time, but nobody was building sets. So,
well, that was back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right?
Oh, yeah.
You were open in those times during the boring times, as Geoff called
I was Mike's retro trading cards in 91, which made me 60s, 70s, 80s.
So this is one of my favorite points, too. He was on Dustin's channel doing an interview, and he self-admittedly said he didn't have a lot of friends and wasn't one of the cool kids. So I wrote down, so with no internet, and self-admittedly not being a cool kid, Geoff is able to tell us what the majority of collectors were doing with 1989 Upper Deck. Wow. Talk about someone getting high on his own supply, that he can look back with total anecdotal evidence of his own, no one else's, and say this is what everyone in the hobby was doing back in 1989, with the exception of some weird set builders. Everyone was chasing this 89 Griffey. I know because I was. Okay, sure. Telling the story of him and his friends trading cards at the lunch table sounded so fake to me. I used to be in politics. It totally reminded me of a politician saying, I met this older woman and she was telling me about her grocery bill and we were sitting down at her kitchen. No, you didn't. You didn't meet that older woman. That older woman does not exist, right? So like Geoff telling that story cracked me up. Talk about advertising again. The hot card of the week is nothing new. Talking about Beckett. And then he decides to throw in a little ad for Market Movers. You guys catch that too? Like, by the way, check out Market Movers. We do that too.
And he compared Beckett to like Market Movers as a modern day Beckett kind of thing.
Which is so stupid because Beckett came out once a month because cards didn't go up drastically daily like they do now. Maybe if we had the internet, they would. We didn't. We live in the time that we are in, right? Cards were not going up every day, every pitch, every inning, every touchdown. Cards were not going up like that. So yes, getting the Beckett once a month, there is a massive difference to what he's doing and what Beckett was doing. But again, it doesn't fit his narrative. I have a bunch of other stuff I'll sprinkle in, but I just want to send it to you, EP. Cards were boring in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm sure you appreciate that statement. So I'll hand it off to you. But I have a bunch of other stuff that we can talk about.
I got a bunch of stuff too. First thing I want to show though is the biggest word I wrote on here is that
troll.
Troll. Like those. I mean, like I got those. Like he's definitely trolling everybody on this one because I mean some of the stuff like boring. Like in 1952, the very like that first Topps card, they introduced full color on the card with the photo and everything. Like that was a huge deal, and they innovated with their designs. I didn't realize that not everybody loves all the designs, but they innovated on their designs. They started putting inserts in, and like I forget when the All-Star inserts started going in, that sort of stuff. Like
cards. They put action, like people sliding into first base,
using
photos in. That was massively innovative back then.
And you look at all the subsets and that sort of stuff, like 1991 score. We talk about 1991 and 92 score baseball, like all of those subsets that were insert sets, like that stuff was. I mean, if you call the cards boring, I can't deal with you. Like the whole and comparing the 89 Upper Deck Griffey to a card out of a $10,000 box or whatever, like it there's no comparison. Like I can't. I was trying to figure out where his headspace was when he was trying to explain this stuff. And like I remember opening up the Beckett's myself back in the day, and the card I always looked for was the 1990 Topps Frank Thomas, no name on front. It's like a $500 card, like this like unicorn card. I kept going back and look at that, and like now $500 is nothing for a card. There are so many cards in every set that comes out that they're worth more than $500. So I really like, and the one thing that really got me was he said that he said the hobby is just different now, but then at the end he said the hobby isn't that different anymore. Like he contradicted himself in his own video, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, but for as much as I don't think the cards from the 60s, 70s, 80s are boring, I do agree that collecting is better now because we can also collect that stuff, and then if we want to, we can collect the new stuff. So I think I do agree with Geoff on the fact that I think the hobby is better now in that regard. And as far as if you're a collector, there are more options, and from the high end stuff to the lowest low end stuff.
There was one thing that he said in there that really got me. He said, opening packs now is a lot more fun than opening them back in the day. Maybe he didn't open packs back in the day. First of all, you can't look at the back in the day through the lens of today.
Right.
I remember opening the first pack of Marvel Masterpieces like cards. I remember the first pack of Fleer EX basketball I opened. I remember the first time I heard about the game jersey cards in Upper Deck. I remember this and that and this and this insert and that insert. That was fun. And I've opened cards back then. I opened a lot of cards back then. I still open a decent amount of cards now. I feel sick sometimes when I get done opening a box now, like, oh, that was such a waste. I didn't feel that way back then. Like, it's not more fun now. Maybe for some people, and if you are, that's fine, but you can't just make a blanket statement like that, because you talk about all the different parallels and refractors. That's boring. Back in the 90s, when you opened stuff, you got something new that you never saw before in a pack that was innovative. You had companies trying to one up each other. You didn't have everybody doing the same damn thing over and over and over again, which is what it is now. What's the difference between opening a box of Prism and a box of Optic? Like, honestly, they're the same product. Oh, you throw like a downtown in one of them, so it's different. They're the same product. They're literally the same product. And then they do it over and over again with Topps Chrome. Like, how many versions of Topps Chrome do they do? It's not more fun. It costs more money, and you don't get hits anywhere near as often. You don't get your value back anywhere near as often. I would definitely argue it is not more fun to open boxes now. You could hit something really expensive. That's cool if you get it. But I'm going to say probably 98% of the time, you're going to be like, oh, why did I do that?
There is a cost to fun ratio, right? Like the cost to fun ratio is the thing that drives down the modern stuff. Where if you think back to the day, and again, it's all relative. Like what you remember in 1989 opening like Topps and getting a Greg Jeffries rookie card, and then or open up a 1990 Don Russ and getting a Todd Zeile rated rookie. Like that was a big deal at the time because Todd Zeile was going to be this great player. Like, and that was these are chases. I mean, they're just part of a base set. I really consider them to be chases. They're part of a base set, but the rookie cards. But then that's what excited us back in the day. And like again, it's all relative. But and I agree that there in some regards it is better. It is better opening packs today, but that cost ratio just drives it down so much that it becomes like Mike said, you get an appealing stick to your stomach. A lot of this stuff.
It's like someone that it would be like someone going to a blackjack table, losing $5,000 and be like, oh man, I had so much fun. No, that's what are we talking about here? Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know what he was talking about there. I did put Mike, it's a lot more fun opening up packs today than it was in the 90s. And then he got snippy when he said it. It's like, it's a lot more. Like, he was really sassy about that point. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he kept calling 89 Upper Deck a premium product. Okay, sure, it was. Comparatively to other stuff, it was a premium
product.
For
2 years, it was.
For 2 years. And they were like, what, $5 a pack? Okay, let's put some perspective.
I think they were $1 a pack, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I think they were 2.
Like I have a feeling he didn't really know what the prices of the packs were back then.
Right, like
normal packs were like
$5 a pack. They're not you know, like I think Flair back in the day, Mike, was close to $5 a pack. And that felt like unattainable. Mm-hmm. He kept oddly bringing up 792 card sets. He said that like 3 times. I don't know if Upper Deck was 792 cards, but it was the same exact number every time. I don't think it's much different if those parallels and refractors and SSPs existed when we were kids. Well, okay. But again, you're putting a 2025 lens on cards from the 80s and 90s. You can't do that. And Mike, you had a shop and you pulled out some of the leftover inventory. You found a Kevin Green PMG, didn't you? Like, we had that stuff. It's not like it wasn't there, but Mike had it in a 50% off box when he found his inventory. So that just tells you, like, it wasn't all about chasing these quote unquote hits. When we had hits, some of them didn't matter. Some people were still chasing the rookie to then potentially put into a set. The evolution, so he makes this point that as people got more into the hobby now, like someone came into the hobby fresh in, the last handful of years, the evolution of ripping boxes to buying singles is, he kept saying that people start off just buying singles, getting the breaks, and then they evolve into being collectors where they buy singles. The reason they're evolving into collectors and buying singles is because they can't afford boxes anymore. They're being priced out of boxes. They're being priced out of breaks, and they're smartening up a little bit. It's not because they're evolving as collectors. They're growing a little bit of a brain and realizing how much they're spending on this wax that you are selling at your card shop. Like a lot of it very much felt like zero sum, right? It's like you either only collect investment type chase cards, or you build sets. That's it. You can't be a mix. Yeah. I think we're all that. We're all a mix. Like he keeps talking about it, like you can only pick one or the other.
You can also
one way's dumb and one way's not.
You could be a collector and not build sets. Like there are a lot of people that collect teams and collect players, and it's always been that way too. And look at Mike Jones. He collected Cal Ripken cards. He got a Cal Ripken card. He kept it. He still has them. Like he wasn't a set collector, but he was a collector.
But he also built sets. He also built sets, like the Marvel sets. He built Marvel sets. I mean, it's not just zero sum.
But I hate the fact that he was like kind of using collector as a set builder. Like there are collectors who aren't set builders. There are a lot of them, probably more than there are set builders. You don't have to be a set builder to be a collector, but there are people who like certain things, like certain players. You don't even have to buy all the same players. Like my range of what I like is kind of eclectic. It's weird stuff. And I can go from one thing to another thing, and I like having that. It's the joy of having it in your collection that makes you a collector. It's not necessarily what it is or how you got it, but it's not all about sets. It's not a wall of sets here that, well, now I'm a collector because I got my 1,000th set done. That's a hard word to say, 1,000th. Really shouldn't have gone. I should have said 100th. But anyway, 792nd, which was the top sets were all 792. Mm-hmm. Actually, he kind of undersold Upper Deck. I don't know about the 89, but some of the Upper Deck sets were 900. So he could have made it a little more sensationalized, but he doesn't know enough about cards to be able to do jokes about them.
All right.
I thought comparing Upper Deck, 1989 Upper Deck to cards that are $10,000 a box or whatever was an interesting choice. There's a point where I think he did that where because I mean like so Victor Wembanyama Mercury versus 1989 Upper Deck, like two completely different things.
Practically the same set, EP. I don't know what you're
saying. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean I wrote down one point like how many. First off, when he was talking about the binders and doing the trades with the binders, I thought to myself, and this is the brain of a really messed up collector, I thought to myself, I would think it'd be really cool to have an entire page, 9 cards of the 87 Will Clark card. I don't collect Will Clark, and I don't like the 87 top set, but I thought to myself, man, that'd be cool. Just cool to have an entire page of just those cards. That is how my brain works as a collector. And I don't like the set or the player, but I think that'd be a really cool card to have 9 of in a binder. So that, I mean, I feel like that it's a weird thing. Like how many binders do you in his PC? How many binders do you think Geoff Wilson has in his PC right now?
0. What are we talking about here? The only set he might have is probably all graded, and it's in one of those Zion cases. Here's the other thing that no one has talked about. There aren't that many, like there are enough, but like those premium products, the ones he's comparing, right? So he's comparing 1989 Upper Deck to like Mercury or say Flawless or something ridiculous like that, right? You can't build those sets. Those aren't buildable sets. If you try and build, he's complaining about 792 cards in a Topps set. Select didn't it have like 600 or 700 cards? Select football because of all the different variations, but they are all part of the set. Like I don't know. It just, to me, as I'm talking about this, as we're talking about this together, I don't know even what point he was trying to make. Like I don't know what. Like was he trying to say that people complain that you're not a true collector if you don't? Right. Exactly. I mean, that's what he's doing, and we're talking about it, and everyone's talking about it. As soon as Mike sent us this video, EP, what was the thing I said? I don't want to click on that because it's going to fuck with my algorithm.
Yeah,
I did not want to click on that video, Mike, when you texted it to us, and now I'm going to get nothing but sports card investor videos for the next 6 months until I cleanse my colon of that bullshit. Right?
That'll be great.
So. But yeah, so I still don't understand really the point he was making. And when people say things at the top where he's like, if I had a nickel for every time someone came up to me and said collecting's dead, I would own Amazon, not an Amazon product, or a piece of stock. I would own Amazon. Amazon is worth roughly $3 trillion. Do you know how many nickels that would be? Geoff does not talk to that many people.
There are not enough people on the planet
right.
to have a nickel to go tell him that to buy Amazon.
Right. Nickels either.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a troll. But at the end of the day, that's what he's doing. He's definitely trolling. But it rings so hollow when he says, "Oh, hey, you really? I mean, who cares what true collectors say? You can be a true collector by buying these arena repacks, or coming in my shop and getting into a break, or using market movers. It's all an ad. It was all an ad for his bullshit."
I was going to ask if you guys, before Joe brought it up, I was going to ask if it didn't get brought up. Did you know that the Arena Club includes an offer in it to sell your card back? I saw something about it somewhere last night. I don't know where.
Really?
Yeah, shocking.
One other thing I wanted to point out too is, now this is my own anecdotal experience, but I had a card shop, and I think if you look on any local Facebook marketplace, it'll back me up. But I don't remember collectors selling their base cards or throwing their base cards away back in the 90s like they do now. You can buy them all on Facebook Marketplace. They're still all out there. They made as many cards then as they do now, but people didn't throw them out. So I don't know.
That's actually
that
really
makes
good
you a little more of a collector if you're not throwing away all the cards you just ripped open.
Right.
Yeah, I read some of the comments just because it was.
They were good.
They let Geoff have it. A lot of straw man argument, saying that it's basically a straw man argument and things like that. But someone did bring up the point. It's like, wait, you're calling people collectors nowadays when you're literally throwing away base cards. There are people that just throw away base cards. When breakers don't ship base, what do you think they're doing with them? They're throwing them away. I mean, so yeah, it's wild to me that and we're not here to shit on how anyone else collects. However you want to collect, that's kind of the point that Geoff is missing, trolling for, I guess. But if you want to build sets, build sets. If you want to just buy card, but I will say the difference of then and now is that it's all about the money now. Right. For a good chunk of the hobby, it's all about the money. And I can say, if you are literally just collecting dollars, just collecting money, then you're not a true collector. You're literally just collecting money. And that's fine, but don't whine that people are like, "Oh,
you're a gambler."
Collector. Right, you're a gambler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they said I'm not a true collector. Well, what do you collect? Well, I like to collect Ben Franklin. Okay, then you aren't a true collector. You're just collecting money.
Yeah, it's not about chasing hits and flipping that's ruining the hobby. It's about the hobby just turning into a casino, an unregulated casino before your eyes, that's ruining the hobby. I don't care what you want to say. Maybe chasing hits was technically gambling, but if you want to say that, dropping a penny into a slot machine is the equivalent to playing a $1,000 slot machine at the casino, you're wrong. And that's the problem with the hobby. It's people getting addicted to breaking. They're going into breaks for the only purpose of trying to get a card worth value. They don't give a shit about the card. They don't care what it is. Just make it worth more than what I'm paying for my spot, and it's good. This is the problem with the hobby. That's kind of like you are chasing a hit and you're flipping in the process of that, but they're symptoms of the real problem that it's turned into an open casino that's unregulated. At least if you're betting on sports or you're playing daily fantasy or you're going to the casino, there are things in place to make sure they're on the up and up and they're not cheating you. We don't have that in the hobby. That is a huge fucking problem in this hobby, that people can just be ripped off by breakers over and over and over again, and nobody does anything about it. Oh, it's just how it goes. There will be a day it'll be regulated. It has to be, because it's just turned into a freaking online casino by going into breaks, trying to make money off it. You're not collecting. You're not a collector. You're a gambler, not a collector, gambler. rant over. That's a good rant. You see, that's how you do a rant, Geoff.
The issue is, though, Mike, Jeff's never going to talk about it because he is a beneficiary of this system that we have right now.
He is the casino owner.
He is one of the casino owners for sure. And he makes money on both ends of it. He's making money by getting ads for repacks. He's making money by people checking their prices every single day on Market Movers. And he is a Fanatics Live breaker. I mean, he is. So he's never going to talk about that aspect of it. So this is basically a Gary V pump and dump scenario. Like, he's telling you it's okay to just chase the big hit. It doesn't mean you're less of a collector, while he is trying to sell you a way to get the big hit, right? So he's pumping up what his wares, and he's hoping that everyone falls for it and says, oh, well, Geoff Wilson said I can just buy into breaks, and I'm just as much of a collector as someone putting together a set from 1988 Topps. Okay, well, you're not. You're someone who's just trying to get a big score.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Your points, Mike's rant, and of course Joe. Joe, the one word that you brought up that I really want to kind of just talk about a little bit is the word system. And like, we have this system, and it kind of goes back to Mike's rant as well, where the system, the slot machine analogy, where you're putting a penny in versus $1,000. The system has made it so they've taken advantage of people's likeliness. I can't think of the word to gamble. They're the addiction to gambling, the chance for that to happen.
The dopamine hit.
The dopamine hit. They are preying on that, and then they are also jacking up the prices, and that is the real problem. The real problem in the hobby right now is the prices, and that they are using people's chances of being addicted, their likelihood of being addicted, and you're turning that into miles and miles of cash. And obviously, there are some people benefit by getting big cards, but it's actually the companies that are doing it that are making miles and miles of profit. So, and the one last thing I wanted to say is, the cost for fund ratio, I think is like a really important thing to look at. I think that's just a kind of a big deal.
We're gonna move on, but I gotta say, good God, man. If you're a YouTube sports card content creator, stop doing the damn funny face video, like thumbnails for your videos.
I hate this so
much. Oh my God. And Dustin, we love you, but you do them too. But Geoff Wilson's are by far the worst. Like, just stop.
Jeff Wilson does them. Card Collector 2s are the worst. He got in my algorithm for like 10 minutes one time, and it was the worst. We love him, Dan the Card Man. He does them too. I mean, it's like as much as I throw Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics under the bus, at least he doesn't do that.
No.
I think he knows why, but yeah, smart. That's why.
Same reason we don't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on here. In some different news, Fanatics and Complex have a new series where athletes and celebrities go card shopping and share stories about cards. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Complex, but they've done videos like this with celebrities and athletes going shoe shopping like for a long time. I think they have over 300 episodes of that. I've watched quite a few of them. They do wrestlers quite a bit with that, so it's kind of fun watching. CM Punk had one, and when they like rang him up, he was like a little taken aback by how much it was. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, they are now doing a card version of this, and the first episode dropped with Tom Brady at his store. And I have to say, like, Tom was really a collector. Like, hearing him, he had his binder of cards from when he was a kid, and he was talking about trading with his friends and stuff like that. And it is kind of cool that Tom really was into cards. It's not really a fake thing for him. Of course, he wasn't really shopping for cards because he was at his shop, the Card Vault by Tom Brady, the one by the Meadowlands, and which, by the way, is an amazing looking store. Not our kind of store, but like for a retail store selling cards, whatever that dream Fanatic store is, I think this might be it. And probably staged, but there was a Patrick Mahomes rated rookie autograph in their big display case, the main one. And he said to the guy, "When did we get that?" And he's like, "Put that back. I'm getting that." So it was kind of funny though. But yeah, Tom has some good stories, kind of cool to check out. So I'm interested to see if they'll have some people actually buying cards, because that's the fun part of the sneaker one, is like seeing the actual shoes that the guys pick out and seeing how much money they drop on them. So hopefully this episode didn't really do that, but hopefully future episodes will kind of veer off, because I don't know, I'm maybe a little bit of a sucker. I kind of like that stuff. And it's on YouTube and Fanatics and Complex's Instagram if you want to check that out.
You've already fucked with my algorithm this month, so I don't, I will say, as you were talking about Brady and his binder cards, I'm like, I wonder how long it took an intern over at Fanatics to cultivate that binder that he probably actually didn't have when he was a kid.
No, hearing him talk though,
yeah,
it seemed after talking about Geoff Wilson, talking about his childhood experience, if you watch these back to back like I did, you can tell which one's authentic and which one isn't.
Yeah, I and that's the thing too. Most athletes probably did collect cards back then. I mean, he graduated college in 2000, so he's close to our, like he's right around our age, and it wouldn't, the card boom in the 80s. Yeah, he's much younger than you, but the card boom in the 80s and 90s would have hit him at the perfect time. So that makes a lot of sense. It sounds like a fun idea. I'm torn whether I want to see like true collectors like an AJ Dillon go shopping, Mike Trout, or it'd be hilarious if it was like someone just getting into cards, didn't really know about cards, and they went shopping for cards. And they rung, I'll take like 6 boxes of this. $40,000
week's salary.
Right. And they're blown away by it. I'm sure Ruben would have that one edited out. And so that doesn't make the Instagram post. But yeah, it sounds like a fun concept. I'll probably give it a watch. Mike, you'll have to let us know if someone really interesting is on.
I mean, what really? Like the former Tom Brady, well, it's still a Tom Brady collector. Like, you're not interested in seeing him at all in this video? Like, is that?
I'll watch. This is the one I'll watch. I'm saying for future ones.
Gotcha,
if it's it's like Seth Rollins would be. I might watch that shoe one. He's an entertaining character.
And yeah, Tom drops a lot of F-bombs in this too, which I kind of thought was interesting. Yeah, he's a potty mouth just like us.
Yeah, I like it.
I wonder how many episodes they're going to be able to do. Like, I hope it's a long running thing. I'm going to definitely check out the Brady one, but I want to like Joe said, I want to see like AJ Dillon, Mike Trout. There's a former Yankees pitcher who was a big collector too. Like, I want to see those guys, like the ones that are really doing business in the hobby. I want to see what they go out and buy.
Okay, I have a little segment for you this week called Panini Doesn't Care Anymore. Just wanted to throw these out there because I thought this was really kind of funny. Just example A collector showed that they opened a case of clearly Donruss first off the line. One case. They got 7 1-of-1s, including Jaden Daniels and Drake May, out of the one case.
Nice case. Good job, buddy.
Example 2. Somebody opened a case of Optic football. You're supposed to get 12 autographs. They got 72 autographs. Example 3. GemRate released like their universal pop report and showed the gem rates for the 2024 Prism football. And the top 15 graded cards ranged from a 30% to a 41% gem rate, with most of the top rookies being in the low to mid 30%. So we've been talking for a while about Panini just being checked out. I think they're really checked out now. They're just done. Whatever. They don't care. I kind of respect it in a way, but yeah, kind of funny.
So I will ask this question because I have no idea the answer. We know that Fanatics does own the print companies, correct? So
your head out for this one.
no, I'm dead
okay.
serious. Do we know that? What's the oversight of these products? Are there Panini people on staff putting it through the paces? I'm just curious about that. The auto and the downtown, that's collation. I don't know after they get printed, when they go from being printed to then collated and put into packs and cases, boxes and cases. I don't know who's in charge of that. I would suspect.
I think it's all just done.
It's all
done.
Yeah.
So it's all done in that Fanatics print shop. The one that I would legitimately blame Fanatics for, I agree, Panini's checked out. I would be too, senioritis, whatever. But the gem rate one, like that legitimately is on the printer. That, I mean, I think you as someone in the newspaper can back me up. Like if you have an outside print shop and stuff is coming out like crap, I mean, you probably would send it back. So that, the buck should stop with Panini, but the stuff is being printed by Fanatics. So that's, I mean, maybe this is not a good harbinger of things to come for Fanatics products in the future if they can't print quality Panini cards, because those presses that are making Panini cards will be making Fanatics cards in about a year, I would suspect. But yeah, it's just Panini is completely checked out. I'm curious how they will do the makeup cases, right? So if one case got 72 autos, is there 3 cases that got 0? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So if hopefully they make that right, because even if my conspiracy theory hat aside, if it was Fanatics' fault, at the print shop or whoever the name of the print shop is, then Panini needs to make that right, regardless of who printed them off. They'll probably give Panini points.
I mean, the 72 stickers thing, like they got to get rid of the stickers somehow, right? How many stickers they got sitting in their warehouse that they need to use up?
Yeah.
So I mean, like they're just, I mean, like, and if somebody opens an optic case for 72,
it's a hot case. Yeah,
it's not a hot case, and then somebody opens another one. Like, who else is going to go out and buy a case of optic and get their 72 autos? Like, you're going to sell more 72 optic, or you sell more optic, and then also the 101s. Like we've talked about a million times. Like everybody gets a 101. Like it's pretty much what that is. Like I just feel like those two things. On the gem rate, I feel like this, as much as there's some crap there. 40%. If you think about the current state of the hobby, literally there's probably 50-50 collectors and the printer, because everybody who opens a pack of cards thinks it's pack fresh. They put it in a semi-rigid a card saver, and then they send it off to get it graded. So they are sending in even, like, again, the cards are supposed to come out of the pack as an 8. A lot of them 9s. The best ones are supposed to be 10s. So if you're talking about the population, the number of cards that are being graded from that set, with the success of Jaden Daniels, I'd be willing to bet that a lot of those cards should not have ever been sent in to be graded. So I feel like, again, you said it's like 30%, 31% for the top rookie. So maybe not there, but I feel like it's 50-50, because I think there are a lot of people in the hobby who are just not even bothering. They're just sending it off to get graded, and they're sending off cards that should not be graded at all.
Shouldn't all the pop reports look like that, though?
I
figure it should be the same if it's just from people pulling the card out of the pack and throwing it in and getting it graded. It should be across all the different brands, not particularly just one. Is there like a 2x button for the printer so they can get that shit printed faster? Maybe like when you're watching Geoff Wilson videos on YouTube, hit the 2x button.
Oh man, I was looking for Prism. A 3x button.
I think something like Prism lends itself more to potential for issues, though, just because of the kind of printing it is as well. So I feel I'm not trying to be apologetic for a Panini or Fanatics anyway. I'm just saying that I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for that to have a problem, and people, if you don't look for a tiny little scratch, and the way PSA is grading stuff now, that tiny little scratch, that little dimple is going to turn it into a 6. So.
I wonder, though, if Panini owned the printing company, if EP would be as apologetic.
Oh, that'd be the worst. I'd hate the world.
All right, here was a fun little exchange I saw on Twitter this week. there was a Twitter user that was complaining that Topps still is putting the Lionel Messi autographs into products. Remember, there was an issue that PSA wouldn't authenticate the autographs that are coming out of Topps stuff. And apparently, Topps is still using the same autograph and putting it out in packs and cards. One Twitter user commented under that, tagged Nat Turner and said, bro, do something, because that's how you talk to people like that. And Nat Turner actually replied, and you're gonna love this. Nat replied, I don't work at Topps.
Perfect.
So there's a big win for Nat Turner, but it is a little crazy. I guess the story, I don't know soccer cards, but I guess the story is they think his brother signed the cards, that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And PSA has not been authenticating these, but yet Topps is still using the same batch of stickers that the brother may have signed and still putting in cards like, well, we don't give a fuck. So I
Mike dropping F-bombs left and right, by the way, this episode. I need a counter.
if Tom Brady can do it, I'm allowed to do it, right?
I've been using that argument for years, and you always get mad when I drop F-bombs, so I don't know.
I'm the host. I'm allowed to do it.
Oh, is that how it works?
I'm the
I
oldest.
thought it was the sassy guy up in this quadrant was allowed to drop F-bombs whenever. Yeah, so I do appreciate PSA's consistency on this, because I think it was Pele autos they weren't sure were authentic. Was it Leaf? And then there were some Panini autos that they weren't 100% sure of. The Anthony Richardson, they stopped doing that. This is what you want from PSA. Say what you will about PSA, and I'm sure we'll get comments that PSA is the worst too, and they're the Death Star of grading and all this and that. All that being said is I'd rather them be on the side of caution and vigilance than we'll just send anything through, right? So this is kind of what they're here for. This is kind of what we pay them for. Same thing with the eBay authentication program, right? We complain about it until they find a fake card, and they're like, we just saved you thousands of dollars because we just found a fake card. So like, we want to complain because your specific card didn't get through, or your specific card was not authenticated or whatever. But it's not if there's questions about it, then they shouldn't grade it. That's the whole point of this process.
Yeah, this is a 100% like a Topps versus PSA type thing, and like PSA is doing the right thing, and they think it's not accurate. They think it is not signed by the person that's on the card. Where Topps is just like, you know what, we don't care. We're selling the cards. We're not PSA. Just don't grade your cards. It's fine. We got a piece of paper with Messi signing it, saying that this is legit,
which doesn't look anything like the signature on the stickers. But we don't care.
Right?
We didn't notice that, did we?
These are verified. We got them. We're gonna use them.
Maybe the brother signed the contract too.
Well, that becomes legal. So I don't know if they would do that.
Similarly, look, maybe.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Sue him? Then he won't sign any more autographs for him. Yeah, see, we know how it works.
Or have his brother, but that's the whole thing. He's not signing autographs for him. So yeah, it's fine. Don't have Messi autos in your product because you don't have them now. So what's the difference? What's the difference?
I would really, really hate to know the percentage of autographs that the companies are getting back and putting on these cards that aren't authentic.
What's the over under, do you think? 30%? Not
That might be a little high. That might be a little high, right?
I don't think it is. I bet it's probably way more than any of us realize. There are a lot of people out there that are being asked to sign a lot of cards, a lot of stickers. I don't know.
No supervision.
Yeah, you're just signing an affidavit saying, yeah, I signed these, but knowing if they find out you didn't, there's nothing. Like we talked about that, a month ago or so, about the one card insider saying, well, there's nothing we can do because the agent won't work with us again if we say anything to them. So the companies have admitted that they won't do anything if they're getting fake cards back. So why do they have to sign them? If you have, like, you've seen the pictures of like the Bowman kids, which
Right.
probably
Yeah.
are all legitimate because they're excited to do it, but huge piles of cards all over the table that they have to sign. Any of them that are done that they mail the cards or mail the stickers to them and they come back, you don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was way more than we thought, like 40-50%, maybe even. Crazy. But I'm glad that PSA is out there and they're not afraid to say, you know what, this card that Topps put out, this isn't a real autograph, or this card that Panini put out, that's not a real autograph. We're sorry, but you guys didn't do that, because it's authenticating it right on the card. It guarantees that it's real, but
It says
then
Top
it's not.
certified right on it.
Yeah. So you can't believe them. And it's sad because like, I could never imagine back like in the 90s when you pulled an autograph out of a box that there was a chance that it wasn't real when it came from Topps or somebody like that.
Right.
Especially now because, and I say this admittedly in front of a wall of autos, we are now, as a collector community, we are obsessed with autographs, right? Like, we need to pull multiple autographs out of a box of cards, and we just need the autograph card. We don't care if it's real. We don't care if it's faded. We don't care if it's streaky. We don't care if we put it the card in Kurt's card care and half the auto just disappears. We don't care. We just want this auto card to then sell it. So when you're super obsessed with autographs, that means the companies have to make more and more of them. That means these athletes and these celebrities need to sign more and more of them, which means they might just pass the buck to their brother, cousin, sisters, husband, whatever. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And until Fanatics, which again they won't because it costs money, same thing like we talked about with the CT scanning thing, until Fanatics says, you know what, we're going to send people to training camps to get these autographs. We're going to send someone to verify that they're actually signing these cards. If Fanatics did that, can you imagine a card from 2 years ago compared to a card 2 years from now, and the autographs look completely different? That's because that's what would happen. So yeah, it's ridiculous that you have to even question it. And then you have PSA who's basically saying this is just as good as if Joe Day autographed this Justin Herbert card. Poor Justin Herbert taking a drive-by there. But,
don't tell people you do that.
Right. But there's no difference. There's no difference in it.
I mean, with the deep pockets that Fanatics has, right? Like, why not just have an event, have like a summit or something like that, where you have like the people come in and sign everything. Obviously, you're not going to get literally everybody when you do something like that, but I feel like that would be something they could do. Where so I mean, just training camp, whatever. But I mean, like, also have something and make it a you could make it a thing where maybe people would be excited to go there. Even the people who, like, Messi probably doesn't need the money. He's just signing the autographs as part of a deal or part of whatever. But if you turn that into something else, maybe then you can get more buy-in, more people coming in and signing in person.
And I will say, I think Fanatics does a better job than Panini did. And I think they are doing a better job and will continue to do a better job. But in this case, they didn't. I got one other thing I need to get in here, because I know we have a lot of football fans that watch the podcast. So this is kind of a public service announcement. I need to get the news out there. But Fanatics is offering a chance to catch a pass from Patrick Mahomes. Do you hear that, Tyler Simmons? You can catch a pass from Patrick Mahomes. You get to keep the football. You get a display case for it. You get an autograph photo of the event. You don't get an autograph on the football, but you can still catch a pass from Patrick Mahomes, and it's only going to cost you $15,000. So there you go.
You pay for experiences, right? If I could catch a pass from Patrick Stewart, if I could catch a pass from a football pass from Patrick Stewart for $15,000, I'm there. Could you imagine his almost 90-year-old arthritis ridden hands?
Man, think of
not as much as I can imagine you trying to run a little out route without dying.
Whoa, Mike! Back in the day,
that was a long time ago, Joe.
I was quite the wide receiver, literally wide. No, yeah. My first question when you said this is a Fanatics Topps thing, right?
Yeah, Fanatics.
And he just signed an exclusive autograph card deal with Panini. So my first question is, what is his wife spending all this money on? What does he need the money for? Like, this is like two things now, two pretty expensive things, big contract with Panini, big contract, that $15,000 to catch a pass. I'm sure people will pay. What does he need the money for? What is going on, Patrick? Are you addicted to card collecting? Are you okay, buddy? Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah.
He's He's addicted to breaking and tops now. Man, I'm sorry, buddy. It's got to be rough. But yeah, this is I would do it for not literally catch a pass from Patrick Stewart. But for Patrick Stewart, I would do it, not Patrick Mahomes.
So if you think about it, like essentially this is going to be $15,000, $15,000, $15,000, $15,000. So I mean, like it's not. I mean, he's got to throw one pass and maybe chat somebody up for a couple minutes. Like that's a lot of money for just a very simple thing. I
would guess 5 minutes. $15,000 per 5 minutes he'll be making.
Probably not even 5 minutes.
Not even. I'm going like high side of it.
I wonder what the cut's going to be for Fanatics on it. That'd be one thing to think about. And then my last thought, then the autographed photo, is the photo going to be one of those like the hockey card photos? So it's not a card, but it's just it looks like a card.
Yeah. No. Why he couldn't just sign the football then too? Like
right. That's extra. That's an add-on. That's an extra fee.
Like run the pass, catch the football, run it back. He signs it. It would take
sign the footballs before you even pass them. So you're throwing him one that's signed.
Yeah. That's signed. Yeah, it's something. I mean, that's so stupid. Maybe there is something in the Panini contract that he can't.
I guarantee you, though, Joe, there will be a 40-second clock there running that he has to get the next one thrown within then, or the whole event's canceled. So I know some of you out there will probably do that. You get back to us with your report.
Tyler, send us a video.
Yeah,
Tyler, send us a video.
All right, guys. We went a long time this week. I blame Geoff Wilson. It's always his fault, isn't it?
It's always his fault.
Whether it is or isn't, it's his fault. But I got nothing left for you. I'm out of here. See you when? Next week? Maybe?
Yeah, I think we'll do it next week.
I guess so. Next week. See you guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.